Hi, boys and girls, it's John, and today is an exciting day in Canada. It's the day when Prime Minister Mark Carney, the ruler of all of Canada, decides who gets to play with toys and where we can play with them. I'm so excited. Hi, it's John, and welcome to the channel. 5:02 a.m. Thursday, November the 13th. I hope you're having a great start to your Thursday morning. I have my big blue mug of coffee. I'm chuckling because I treated you like a child off the top of this video. Before I get to that, thank you so much for all your kind comments on the video I put up yesterday, the We Are Alberta video. I had a lot of people text message me. I got email, and a lot of people left comments saying, can we just share the video? So there's actually a video on the channel now. I'll put a card up at the end so you can share that and feel a little bit uplifted on a day when you're being treated like a child. And that's the way I feel. And I think that the provinces should feel that way. I think the premiers of the provinces should feel like we're being treated like children, because Mark Carney is going to decide what you get to build today, what toys you can have. A man who, a year ago wasn't even living in the country? He'd lived out of the country so long, one wonders if he could find Canada on a freaking map. And now he gets to decide what we can build in this country, what's in national interest. How does Mark Carney know what's in the best interest of Ontario? How does he know what's in the best interest of Alberta or Saskatchewan or the Maritimes? He doesn't, but he gets to decide. What gives him the right? And is one thing going to be enough for your province? We might get one thing, although we heard the other day that there's nothing on this list for Alberta. There might be something by the weekend. We'll get to that in just a moment. But it just infuriates me. Let's get to Brian Lilley's article right now. I talked about Brian Lilley the other day. He sent me an email the other night saying the CBC was leaked the list of things. How convenient that is. They just got $150 million from Mark Carney. Well, from you. Mark Carney's highly touted project list is hardly ambitious. So we're getting a new LNG export port, a few mines, and a hydro project. That's great, but it's hardly the kind of ambition the country needs. And once again, Mark Carney isn't living up to his own rhetoric. A new LNG export terminal in British Columbia, a hydroelectric project in Iqaluit, a nickel mine in Ontario, a graphite mine in Quebec, and a tungsten and critical minerals mine in New Brunswick. These are all fine projects. They should all go ahead. The real question, why do we need a government major projects office and the office of the Prime Minister to get them moving? It speaks to how bad things have become in Canada with trying to get things built, getting projects approved. All of these projects should be underway already. Instead, they've been delayed and taken too long to get to market. Canada isn't a serious country when it comes to our economy. We aren't a serious country if this is how projects like mines and LNG export terminals need to be approved. Who will step forward to invest in projects in Canada with private sector money unless they are guaranteed a government seal of approval? You will note that the list doesn't include a pipeline from the oil sands to Canada's northwest coast. Yes, there's a project that will include a pipeline, but that project will take BC natural gas from the northeast corner of that province to the port at Prince Rupert for export. This is low-hanging fruit for Carney because Premier David Eby of BC will not stand in the way of this project. It will fill Eby's coffers with new royalty money since all of the natural gas will come from BC. Had this project involved any natural gas from Alberta or Saskatchewan, you can be sure that Eby and therefore Carney would be saying no. Now, this next paragraph goes on to say how Alberta and Premier Daniel Smith are in negotiations with Carney to get a pipeline, and I've heard rumblings that it's possible we might get a pipeline by Saturday, but don't hold your breath, folks. And will that be enough? It will be for some people. It will be for the elbows up people, the gray hairs who voted for Mark Carney, who think he's doing a wonderful job. Why are you bellyaching, Alberta? He gave you a pipeline. As I mentioned the other day, the pipeline will never be built because David Eby, who's getting his natural gas pipeline probably today, will stand in the way of a pipeline going to the West Coast, as will his dress-up people, the Aboriginal people who live in British Columbia. Now, listen to what Scott Moe says in this clip. He talks about projects that Saskatchewan has ready to go. Watch Premier Danielle Smith. Watch her head when he talks about all the projects they want to have built.
The very fact that Bill C-5 has been introduced, which is a bill to legislate around the current regulatory process that we have, I think is an admission that this hard work does have to happen. And so we've been supportive of, yes, prioritizing projects in the short term, which is really a stopgap to fixing the entirety of the regulatory process that we have in Canada so that all projects can move forward. In Saskatchewan, we don't have 1 or 2 or 3 projects that are a priority. We have literally in excess of 100 projects that are a priority for us to continue to be a wealth creator, not only in communities across Saskatchewan, but be a contributing province into a strong, growing nation of Canada.
Premier Danielle Smith, my premier here in Alberta, sitting there nodding her head as Scott Moe of Saskatchewan says, hey, we've got hundreds of projects. Yep, we have those in Alberta as well. Meanwhile, we're waiting to find out if we can get one. Just imagine what would happen if the government got out of the way, the kind of investment we could have for building things here. But that's not what's happening. Mark Carney will decide what gets built. Doug Ford's waiting in Ontario, if you live there, for the Ring of Fire to be developed. But not much of that's going to happen because it'll have to be on Mark Carney's little list. And there'll be another one coming out sometime in the new year. Meanwhile, they talk about C5 there, Scott Moe did, and this is the thing that's kind of holding things back right now. I was going to read a whole bunch of this article, link in the description. This is from the Fraser Institute. Carney's Bill C5 will likely make things worse, not better. And this is the reason why Mark Carney is now in charge of everything that gets done in this country. And the stagnation of investment in this country as well. It's going to be a lot of investment, but it'll be your money. It'll be deficit spending, because that's what investment means to Mark Carney and the Liberal Party and the people who vote for it. Meanwhile, we know who Mark Carney is. He said it 100 times.
Maybe up as much as half of oil reserves, proven reserves, need to stay in the ground if we're going to get to where we are.
And don't be fooled. Danielle Smith knows who he is as well.
I think that the Prime Minister has made his views very clear about keeping oil and gas in the ground.
Premier Smith, if you know who this guy is, why do you continue to negotiate with him when he wants to keep our number one export in the ground? Not only is it Alberta's number one export, it's Canada's number one export. You're sitting around waiting for the great decider to decide what kind of toys you can have to play with. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. I'll see you in the next one.